Okay, so in this video, I'm going to go through and explain the answers to the review. So number one says find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a convex 22gon. So our formula we use is n minus 2 times 180. N's the number of sides, so 22 is the number of sides. 22 minus 2 is 20. And we're going to take 20 times 180. That gets me 3,600 for number one. Okay, number two says how many sides does a regular polygon have if one interior angle has a measure of 140? So if the interior angle is 140, what we're going to do is we're going to first of all find the exterior angle. We know the interior and the exterior together add up to 180. So 180 minus 140 gets you the exterior angle of 40 degrees. Then to find the number of sides, we're going to take 360, which is the sum of all the exterior angles, and divide that by 40 to get a total of 9 sides. Okay, number 3 says what's the sum of the measures of the exterior angles of a convex 11-gon? Well, the sum of the exterior angles is always going to be 360 degrees. Okay, so number 4 says what's the measure of one interior angle of a regular dodecagon? Well, a dodecagon has 12 sides. So we're going to do 12 times, 12. The formula to find the total interior is going to be n minus 2. So we're going to do 12 minus 2 times 180. So 12 minus 2 is 10 times 180. 10 times 180 is 1,800. Now, 1,800 is the sum of all of them. We want to know just one interior angle. So we're going to take that 1,800 and we're going to divide it by 12. So 1,800 divided by 12 gives me 150. So one interior angle is going to be 150 degrees. Okay, number 5 says how many sides does a regular polygon have if one exterior angle has a measure of 5? Well, we know that all of the exterior angles is going to have a measure of 360. So if I take 360 divided by 5, that's going to tell me how many sides that the figure has. In this case, it's going to have 72 sides. Okay, and number 6, it says find the value of x. Well, in this figure, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a 5-sided figure, which means to find the sum of all of these angles, we're going to do 5 minus 2 times 180. Well, 3 times 180, and I multiply 180 times 3, I get 540. So all 5 of these angles have to add up to 540. So if I add together 125 plus 97 plus 115 plus 85 plus x is going to equal that 540. Well, when I combine all those numbers, 125 plus 97 plus 115 plus 85, I get 422. So 422 plus x equals 540. So if I take 540 and subtract 422, I get 118. So x is going to be 118. Okay, for the next one, again, we want to find x again. It was good to go ahead and fill in the values we know. These are vertical, so 145 would go here. These two add up to 180, so 180 minus 67 is going to give me 113. We know that this figure has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sides. So 7 minus 2 times 180, that's 5 times 180, which 5 times 180 gives me 900. So as I'm looking at this problem, I'm going to add all these values together. 127 plus 113 plus 125 plus 133 plus 145 plus 107. And I'm going to see what that all equals. That equals 750. So 750 plus x equals 900, which if I take 900 minus 750, that gives me an x value of 150. Okay, this next one, we know that we've got a figure here that is 4 sides, so the sum of those angles is going to be 360. So 360 is equal to 3x plus 2x, that's 5x. 44 plus 86 is 130. So if I subtract 130, so 360 minus 130 gets me 230. And I'm going to take 230 and divide it by 5. So x in this case is going to be 46. Okay, for number 7 on the review sheet, I'm going to pull out a piece of graph paper here. We've got quadrilateral HIJK, and as I make my graph here, I'm going to plot the points. So h is 4, -3. We know that I is 9, -1. J is 8, 3. And K is 2, 0.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots. Okay, so once I've connected the dots there, then I'm going to go ahead and to determine, it says, is the quadrilateral a parallelogram? Show and explain your work. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to find my slope. So from this line, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. So it's a slope of -4. For this one, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and left 2. So that's a slope of -3 over 2. For this one, I'm going to go up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2/5. And the other line, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 over 6, that's a slope of 1 over 2. So based on those slopes, for this to be a parallelogram, these opposite sides have to have the same slope. So based on these numbers, I would say this is not a parallelogram. Again, because the opposite sides do not have the same slope. Okay, number 8, we're asked you to find the values of x, y, and z. So for letter x, these two angles are alternate interior angles, so x would be 32 degrees. We know that if it's a parallelogram, these are also alternate interior, so y is going to be 30. And then the opposite angles have to be the same, so that would be, z would be 118. We move on to number 9. Number 9, again, these would be alternate interior, so x would have to be 35 degrees. Y, on this one, y, we know that if x is 35, we add 35 and 75, which 35 and 75 gives me 110, and then if I subtract 110 from 180, so 180 minus 110, so y is going to be 70. Again, those three angles have to add up to 180. And then for z, 75 and z have to be supplementary. So for z, 180 minus 75, that makes z 105. For number 10, if we want to find, let's say, x first, we know that if this is a parallelogram, these consecutive angles have to be supplementary. So 180 minus the 83 is going to make that x 97. We know that these angles opposite have to be the same, so z is also going to be 97. This angle here has to be 83, so y also in this case would be 97 degrees. Okay, for number 11, it says what values of x and y, what must they be in order for each quadrilateral to be a parallelogram? So in this case, UD is 2x plus 1, so I'm just going to fill them in. 2x plus 1. UT is 26, so that's the whole length of this is 26. RD is 15 minus y, and DE is going to be 5. So let's start with x. We know that the diagonals bisect each other, so 2 times the 2x plus 1 is going to equal the 26. So that gets me 4x plus 2 equals 26. If I subtract 2, I get 4x equals 24. And when I divide by 4, x is going to be 6. Now for y, on y we know that the 15 minus y has to be equal to this same length. So 15 minus y equals 5. If I subtract 15, negative y equals negative 10. So y in this case is going to have to be a positive 10 when I divide both sides by negative 1. In number 12, we've got sides, the opposite sides would have to be the same. So I would say 3x plus 60 equals 90. And then the other two sides, 75 has to equal 5y minus 15. So in this one, if I subtract 60, 3x is going to equal 30 and divide by 3. So 30 divided by 3 would be 10. That's x value. And then for the y value, if I add 15, that's going to give me 90 equals 5y. And then if I divide by 5, y is going to be, in this case, 18. So again, both of those are going with number 12. For number 13, probably the best thing to do would be set your opposite angles equal to each other. So 75 is equal to 5y. If you divide by 5, y is going to be 1, looks like 15. So our y value is 15. We could then do the 75 plus 4x plus 15. So 75 plus 4x plus 15 would have to equal 180 because both of these angles are supplementary to each other. So when I add 75 and 15, that gives me 90. So 4x plus 90 equals 180. If I subtract 90, 4x is equal to 90. And if I take and divide 90 by 4, that gives me x to be equal 22.5 or 22 and a half for that one. Okay, and number 4, we want to draw a picture. So we've got parallelogram A, B, C, D. If we know that AB is 5x plus 2 and CD is 3x plus 8, those are opposite sides. So we're going to set those equal to each other. 5x plus 2 equals 3x plus 8. Then if I go ahead and subtract 3x from each side, I get 2x equals 6 when I subtract 2 to both sides, so x would be 3 in this case.